Hi, and welcome to another video by Get It Done Home Repairs. Today we're going to talk about what to do when you have paint on a hinge that you don't want to replace. As you can see, this hinge here has a lot of paint on it. Well, you can see the rest of them are all nice and clean, and there is no paint on these hinges at all. So instead of changing the hinges, I'm going to show you how to remove the paint without too much difficulty. My next helper came in to see what I'm doing here, just to see what's happening. All right, first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove this hinge, and this is an example of what kind of tools you're going to need. You're going to need a hammer, a Phillips head screwdriver, possibly a regular flathead screwdriver, something like this to knock the drift pin out of the door itself, a pair of needle nose pliers, and you're just going to need some very fine emery cloth. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this hinge off. So let's open up the door and we'll take the hinge off. Okay, to remove a hinge is fairly easy. You're just taking out all 4 screws here and all 4 screws here, and then we'll pull it off the door and the frame itself. Watch where you take the screws out, because sometimes you'll find screws that are different sizes and different lengths. All right, so make sure you watch where they come out of. And we'll take this hinge and we'll just pull it until it comes out like this, and then we'll pull it off just like this. And you see what I mean about the paint all over the hinge? There's all paint all over it. Okay? All right, so let me show you how to knock this pin out right here. So let me get a hammer and a drift and we'll knock it out. Okay, now to knock that pin out, there's different ways you can do it. You can get in here with a screwdriver and you can knock the pin out this way here with a screwdriver, which is fine, that'll work. Or you can just take the hinge, take your drift pin, put it over the top like this, hold it on there and just tap it. And you can see the drift pin pulls right out. All right, so the hinge pin we're going to keep separate. We're not going to do anything with that. We're just going to wipe the grease off of it. And now we're going to take these 2 pieces, when we separate them here, we're going to bring these in, and believe it or not, we're going to boil these on the stove for about 20 minutes in a pot. So you're going to bring the water to a boil. We're going to put the hinges into the pot and we're going to boil this for about 20 minutes. So come on, throw it in the water and we'll see what happens. Okay, we just take our hinges and just put them in the water. That's what our needle nose pliers are for, so you don't drop them in and splash yourself. We just put them in just like this, and we're going to let them sit in there. We're going to let them boil for about 20 minutes, and then we'll come back in 20 minutes. We'll take them out, and we're going to clean off that paint. I will mention this, that once you use a pot to boil off the hinges like this, that pot, it should be really thrown away. You shouldn't use it for anything else, unless you're using it in your garage, of course. All right, so we'll come back in 20 minutes, and we'll get that paint off. Okay, so now after they boil for about 20 minutes, we're going to take our needle nose pliers and we're going to take the hinges out. We're going to lay them on something because they're going to be very hot. We won't be able to hold them. We're going to take this out. All right, now we'll go in the garage and we'll finish it off in the garage. So come on, take a walk. Okay, so now we're going to take our steel wool. We're just going to take our hinges. We're going to take them and we're going to, all that painted area right there, we're just going to rub it until it comes off. And you see it comes off fairly easy without even too much work. I will tell you this, the hinges are very hot, so be careful when you're holding them. And as you can see, everything comes right off. Okay, now obviously I'm going to do the same thing on this one, and then we'll go back and we're going to put it back together and put it back on. Okay, so now our hinge is all done. You can see it's nice and clean, like as if it was brand new again. All right, so then what you're going to do is you're going to put your hinge back together. You take your pin, you put it through the top of the hinge. Make sure you're putting your hinge back together the correct way, because the holes need to be tapered on one way. Like, see how this is tapered right here? You want to make sure you put your hinge back together correctly. All right, and we'll put this in here. Just tap it down. Just like that. Your hinge is back together. And now we're going to take our hinge and we're going to put it back on the door. I'm not going to bore you with putting in the screws. I think you can handle something like that. Just make sure you put the hinge back on the exact same way that you took it off. And that's it. The hinge is like brand new again. All right, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.